Help, I'm a Fish is a Danish film that folks have asked me to check out for years now. Why? Because this film was a box office disaster. This film had an $18 million budget. Guess how much money it made back? You ready for this? About $500,000. However, it has become somewhat of a cult classic for its pretty animation and having one of the darkest deaths in animated history. Plus, it's a gem of an actor crossover, as not only is Professor Snape, aka Alan Rickman, in it, but Aaron Paul too. That's right, I'm talking about
Jesse Pinkman.
Aaron Paul went from being a jellyfish to a baby blue kingpin, if you know what I mean.
Yo, I'm really sorry, okay?
What is wrong with you? Why are you blue?
So, let's take a closer look at the box office flop that was Help, I'm a Fish. But before we begin, I want to give a shout out to this video's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Now, I don't want to brag, but I've legit had the best sleep of my life as of late. Good, restful sleep is super important. It can make a world of difference during our waking hours. And I owe Helix Sleep for helping me to achieve that beautiful, deep slumber. So for those who don't know, Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs and conveniently shipped right to your front door. Everybody's different. Helix knows that. So, they made a sleep quiz that matches your unique body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. For me, I sleep on my side, and I like a mattress that is both plush yet firm. The results? Perfection.
What's that?
A Helix sleep mattress?
The quiz recommended the Midnight Luxe in king size. I got the mattress, hauled it up the stairs like some kind of worker ant, and then boom, there it is. Helix delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the US. Plus, these mattresses are fiberglass free. And if you're hesitant about getting a Helix mattress, guess what? There is a 100-night sleep trial to test the mattress out and ensure that you love it. There's also a 10-year warranty. And Helix also offers financing options and flexible payment plans. So, I highly recommend Helix Sleep. They've been a long-standing sponsor for the channel and provide quality mattresses that I 100% stand by. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix Sleep. Their best sale of the year is running right now, and it's the perfect time to upgrade your sleep with 25% off a Helix mattress, plus a free sleep bundle. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix Sleep. Click the link down below or go to helixsleep.com/Saberspark to find out more about this limited time offer. Go hit them up today. To rewind, Help, I'm a Fish looked very different at the beginning of its production. An initial test trailer for the first version of Help, I'm a Fish came out in 1992 called Swifty, Twinkie, and Ploop. What a terrible name. It sounds more like a weird Smurf ripoff. The trailer entailed an underwater adventure starring a fish, a jellyfish, and a starfish. No magical transformations or anything, as they go on a road trip adventure across the ocean. If it reminded me of anything, I'd say the story looks like a brave little toaster by the way of Little Mermaid. There is even Little Mermaid music used as placeholder background music. So the inspiration is plain to see, even in the final product. And all of this came from the mind of, and I looked this up, I'm trying to say it right, Stefan Fjeldmark. Fjeldmark, and his production company, A Film, which he established with several animators who previously worked on another Danish animated film called Valhalla in 1986. The company specialized in both classical hand-drawn techniques and CGI animation, and produced numerous acclaimed productions, including the Oscar-nominated short film When Life Departs, Help, I'm a Fish, and the mega hit Turtle and Trouble, which was the first fully computer animated feature film in Denmark. So from the trailer footage, you can see why Help, I'm a Fish used a lot of animation style mixing between hand-drawn and early 2000s CGI that aged like milk. Yeah, you're not Treasure Planet. But with this many producers and funds listed in the movie's credits, gathering the necessary funds was an apparent struggle for Stefan. So animation was spread between 3 companies. Munich Animation is a German company, best known for its feature film work on the Simpsons movie, the Powerpuff Girls movie, and Hey Arnold, the movie. Then there's Terraglyph Productions, who also had some feature film work under their belt, but were best known for the CD-ROM games like Scooby-Doo and 101 Dalmatians. CD-ROM games, oh my god, am I old! Now, that might sound like a cluster of wildly different animation techniques crammed into one movie, and the result is a cluster of wildly different animations. Who would have guessed? Some sported beautiful painted backgrounds, and others sported, for the time, impressive integrated CGI models while superimposing the drawn characters with them. Again, for the time, this was groundbreaking stuff. And on October 6, 2000, Help, I'm a Fish opened to warm reviews from critics and audiences alike. It even won first place in the Chicago International Film Festival for its animation and storytelling. But despite its animation breakthroughs, it was still a financial flop, and it faded away for many years. This was until it made its rounds in distribution hitting the Americas in 2006, where they, as a matter of fact, did not get Help, I'm a Fish, but the obvious superior title, A Fishtail, and this cover. Just look at the majesty of this box art train wreck. The basic-ass CG models, the saturated colors, the horrifying faces, and the fact it's aping Shark Tale for notoriety. From research, this was the cover that boosted the notoriety of the movie again and caused many people to flock to it. But this is an odd case of don't judge a book by its cover in the opposite direction. Like this cover makes Help, I'm a Fish look like Joshua and the Promised Land. It's not. Trust me. Trust me, it's not. But does this low expectation this cover gives make the movie better or worse in comparison? Well, let's find out. We start off opening with an underwater journey through some CG fish, set to the music by Danish composer Søren Helgard. The track gives off a calm and flowing atmosphere, near sleep-inducing, before jumping into Little Yellow Fish by the Little Trees and whiplashing us to meet our main character. Disclaimer, the music will keep doing this throughout the entire film. Fly is your atypical impulsive cool boy. He lives with his younger sister Stella and parents Lisa and Bill. But you don't fully know that at first, as Fly is speeding his way out the door to go fishing until he literally bounces off his aunt. The aunt is here to babysit as Fly's parents go out on some date night or something, and she's brought along Fly's cousin Chuck, a quote, cautious overweight genetics prodigy. Not my words, that one is on Wikipedia. I know him more as Aaron Paul's breakout role as Jesse Pinkman. And you know what? Props where props are deserved. That is quite a range of character acting Aaron Paul goes throughout his career. He goes from here,
I'm calculating the length of a DNA molecule,
to here.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
And that's impressive. Nevertheless, Fly finds his cousin annoying because of, never explained reasons. And Chuck finds Fly annoying because he deletes important genetics information on his laptop? Because he's a nerd? Wow, what a nice cousin. And while those two bond, we see Stella acting all cute as their aunt falls asleep to move the plot along, as Fly wants to sneak out to go fishing. Chuck refuses at first, but crafty Fly blackmails him to go by threatening to break the backup to the genetics research he is doing. Sure, that's cool. Thanks, Fly. They make it to the shore to fish, and Fly urges Chuck to join in fishing, even though Chuck is very nervous around water due to the fact he can't swim, which is then established by Chuck saying he can't swim. But the trio get together and pull in the line, only to pull up a buck-toothed seahorse, which Stella instantly falls in love with, gripping its feeble body with both hands, gripping the life out of it. The cute aggression is through the roof. Stella then tosses the seahorse back into the water, but oh no! The tide is coming in, and the three of them find themselves caught in a jump cut of high tide. But thankfully, the crushing current pushes them into this is so weird, into a hidden cavern, where they stumble across the boathouse of Professor Mackerel, an eccentric but kindly marine biologist with CG fish and tanks and a few screw looses in his head. So Mackerel is already wise to climate change, believing that the polar ice caps will melt by the next century and will raise the sea level. So that begs the question, how do humans combat this? Do we try to fix the world? Do we try to save it? Nah, it's too late. Let's turn humans into fish instead via Makrill's new fish potion. You know, duh, idiots, that's what we do next. He also, thank God, has a human potion to turn fish into people, you know? So I guess when you turn into a fish and you're tired of living in the water, you can go back? Yeah, something like that. Of course, this is all conveyed through his song, which is catchy, yet slightly uncomfortable too. Like, real talk, the guy sounds unhinged at times.
One drop turns you into a fish.
So, before Makrill can experiment on himself to turn into a fish with the boys recording him on the camera because that's normal, Stella, showing zero self-preservation, mistakes the fish potion for lemonade and drinks it and trips the hell out. It's like she sees the entire universe before turning into a starfish along with pigtails and a dress, because science.
How it feels to chew 5 gum. Stimulate your senses.
By the way, Stella reminds me so much of Rosie from A Troll in Central Park, which I hate that movie, by the way. Now, was that on purpose to ape the marketing of that film? Or perhaps this is just a tired cliche? Probably the latter, but who can say? Thankfully, Stella can speak a lot more than the literal toddler. But Stella has the same level of value in what she says. Which is none, by the way. Stella is just cute toddler MacGuffin, which Fly unknowingly throws out the window into the sea to kickstart the plot. Yes, he just throws her away. Fly then realizes what he had done because the camera recording reveals said transformation and he's like, oh, crap. And immediately goes into the ocean to find her because I'm sure that would work. During a storm, no less. The trio are wildly searching in a rowboat, but the boat begins to sink. Fly, seeing little other choice, grabs the fish potion to go and search for Stella, but Makrill warns him that he'll only have 48 hours to find Stella and take the antidote, or he'll become a fish forever. This opens the question of, how many experiments did you do to figure that out? Oh God. Is that the mailman? But with little coincidental choice, Fly and Chuck drink the potion and go into the ocean to find Stella, becoming a California flying fish and a moon jellyfish. As we established early on, Chuck got a jellyfish on his head and Fly bumped into a stuffed flyfish. And you know, not to rain on anyone's parade, but that is not what a flying fish looks like. At all. Oh, and what happened to Makrill? He'll be fine. Underwater, the fish antidote capsized with the boat and attracted a CG lemon shark and pilot fish. But once the two run into what now looks like pea water and consume some of it, they evolve, gaining intelligence, anthropomorphic appearances, and hand-drawn designs. Plus, they gain the voice talents of David Bateson as the shark, better known as Agent 47 from Hitman, and Alan Rickman as the pilot fish, Joe. Full stop. Alan Rickman was truly an amazing actor. He definitely stole the show in this movie. Though it would be nice if he did not whisper most of his lines. There are even moments where it's kind of hard to make out what he's saying.
I believe we have acquired the power of speech, my voracious friend.
Maybe some behind the scenes with Alan will explain what Joe is saying.
Children, of course, will have already been under the ocean and have changed into a fish in their imaginations probably before they ever come and see this movie.
What? Anyway, Joe snatches the antidote for himself and goes off to create a civilization of intelligent fish, you know, as you do. Shockingly, gaining intelligence caused him to take to fascism quite quickly. He's like, I'm alive. I'm in charge. Back with Fly, Chuck, and Stella, they reunite, accompanied by Sasha, the seahorse from before, and whom Stella adopts. But how did they become such best friends? Why? Through the best way to make paper-thin relationships bloom. Through a montage. Though with little direction to go on to find the antidote, the four happen to come across some newly evolved fish. Evolution with this antidote is very random in design, I guess. Joe did it to a crab and gave him a Giga Chad butt for a chin. And now I guess evolution includes a minstrel show character. Anyway, they tell the kids about Joe and his new regime of hyper-intelligent fish under a very X-like symbol that I won't name due to not wanting this review blocked. So the trio take the fish bus all the way to Joe's domain, which I think might be the Titanic, and sneak in to witness his choreographed and still very whispery villain song.
Potion in hand, we've been given the chance. It's time to turn the tide.
The music just blows out Joe's lyrics, but through that, it is still a very well choreographed number, and I dig the composition of the song, kind of eerie with a be prepared vibes. Fly crashes the end of the song though, with his intention to steal the antidote. His big brain move of swim up and steal it in front of a crowd didn't work so well. So Shark here catches our main characters and Joe interrogates them. The kids refuse to help Joe in any way, but Joe, realizing they have the means to make more antidote, puts Sasha into a work camp, imprisons the kids, and threatens them to make more antidote or the shark will eat them. Less importantly, we occasionally cut back to the parents' inclusion in the story, which is minimal at best, but, well constructed. Fly and Stella's parents come home to see their aunt freaking out that the kids are missing. But after some pondering, Fly and Stella's parents show a nuanced understanding of their children, able to discern Fly going fishing from clues that would require them to understand their children to a deeper degree. Chuck's mom, while sporting a very Karen-like personality, does have range to her worry and comes off more natural than just a typical Karen archetype, especially as the parents meet Mackerel and chew him out for spouting insanity like, "Your kids are fish," and then showing them video proof of it. The parents' role is honestly a nice, breathtaking, supportive role that makes their presence warranted, if sadly underdeveloped because, we speed through it. Speaking of, we cut back to the kids having a whole imprisonment scene where Fly tries to trick the butt-chin crab, but fails only for Sasha to escape the imprisonment camp easily a scene later and get the crab to release them all. Joe and Shark try to stop them, but Fly uses his cunning again and tricks the three villains to fight each other as the kids escape. Joe plans to chew out his subordinates for this, but evolution reminds him that his subordinate is a shark that can easily eat him. So he just orders Shark and the crab to send out more fish to hunt down Fly, Chuck, and Stella. Now at this point, Chuck starts freaking out as they're running out of time before they are permanently fish. But Fly remembers the deranged song of Mackerel and figures if they can't get the antidote from Joe, they can just make more themselves by gathering ingredients from around the ocean. Chuck says that's impossible, but Fly says there's only one way to do it effectively.
Simple little montage, always fade out in a montage. If you fade out, it seems like more time has passed in a montage.
Seriously, most of this movie's soundtrack isn't devoted to musical numbers, but montages, just to abbreviate the story more than it already is. But just as they complete the potion by getting ink from the CG octopus, Joe and his army appear and corner them. In the standoff, Joe drinks the last of the original antidote, transforming his fins into hands and dropping some IQ points as he berates the shark yet again. Joe, didn't we just go over why that was a bad move? The children try to escape, but Fly, forgetting he can swim up and evade the crab easily, and the crab grabs onto their antidote and corners Fly. And how is Fly gonna get out of this one? Oh, so snatching the antidote away from the bleeding and wounded Fly, the crab drinks the antidote and declares himself as King Crab. At the same time, Mackerel and Fly's dad pass over in a makeshift boat powered by a water pump as they search for the kids. The pump causes this underwater typhoon, sucking up the entire army, including Joe and the shark. But Chuck manages to hold on to everyone. So, while in the typhoon, King Crab asserts his dominance over the villain. seconds, before he is then eaten by the shark, and then the shark asserts his dominance over Joe before his head gets stuck in the pump, leaving Joe left swimming. Now with Fly down for the count and losing all hope. And with 12 minutes left in the movie, Chuck remembers that McCrill has another vial of the antidote in his laboratory. But to get to it, the three have to go through dangerous seawater intake pipes to get back inside. Though he has formulated a plan, Chuck tells Stella she must leave Sasha behind as it's too dangerous. So Stella and Sasha, of all characters, get a dedicated moment where Stella has to shoo her away and leave her behind in a heart-tearing emotional scene. Or it would be if Stella and Sasha were characters and not just cute for the sake of being cute. So with useless baggage left behind and kids in tow, Chuck, showing his inner nerdy badass, gets through the dangerous pipes with Joe following them hot on their trail. They manage to flood McCrill's laboratory to reach the antidote. But Joe jumps them, steals the antidote, and releases the piranhas that McCrill had to finish them off. But Fly, near death, realizes he has to use his head to beat Joe. How does he do this? Why, by tricking Joe to repeatedly drink more and more of the antidote by challenging him with intellectual questions. The antidote slowly and grotesquely evolves Joe. His skin peeling off, bones piercing through his skin. His body horribly bubbles over as it struggles to evolve, until Fly drops one more question on him.
Can a human breathe underwater?
Of course not!
That is possibly one of the most horrific deaths in an animated children's film. It is just the quiet and near immediate realization of it as his body just floats away. Ugh, so chilling. But with one fish down, Fly drags the antidote back into the lab, Chuck uncorking it so they can all drink the piss water antidote. Like right when their parents open the door to the flooded lab, they swirl around in the piss and Chuck and Stella become human once more, reuniting with their parents and McCrill. But Fly is nowhere to be seen. Chuck calls out to him, frantic and heartbroken. He finds the body of a fly fish on the floor, and this is where Aaron Paul shows his acting chops. More than any other character, Chuck shows the pure, heartbreaking agony as he fruitlessly tries to save Fly, even though it's too late.
A time machine. You have to have a time machine, right? I mean, turn back the clock before the sunset.
I'm sorry, Chuck.
Charles, can't you see?
No!
It's too late.
No! No, it's not too late!
After a few tense moments in which a stuffed fish is mistaken for Fly's body, the human Fly emerges unharmed from one of the lab's pipes. Well, Fly is fine apart from a broken leg, and everyone joyously hugs him as no one thinks about the deformed human body in the pipes below, you know, the dead one. Godspeed to the plumber who has to tackle that job. Sometime afterwards, the family and McCrill spend some time together on the beach. I guess Fly and Chuck are best of friends now. And while Stella is sad about missing Sasha, Sasha appears. And then Chuck and McCrill spit in the face of God. Proving once and for all that God has abandoned the world of Help, I'm a Fish. Overall, Help, I'm a Fish is a very interesting movie that visually looks fun at times, but the 3D animation is rough. Ambitious, but, you know, rough. The story I find to be competent, if you only account for the story beats themselves. In a more structured movie, it would feel more complete. But without the time to allow Fly and Chuck's relationship to be established, to show the parents' interaction with Fly, to show Joe's rise to power, and also more, it leaves the movie feeling like it runs a mile a minute without any time to slow down and establish any emotional connection or theme. Fly, for example, is an impulsive cool kid who is written like any generic 1990s ball cap cool kid. Brash, does what he wants, is protective of his little sister, and hates his cousin for being a stick in the mud. You know, that sort of thing. It leaves Fly with the building blocks of a character arc. But within the movie itself, no real changes happen to him. Especially when the story contradicts Fly's strengths and weaknesses. Throughout the film, Fly gets through problems by conning people through clever tricks and wordplay, and using intelligence to solve problems, like figuring out the plan to remake the antidote. But in the finale of the movie, he used his head to win the day, even though he was using his head throughout the entire film. Plus, minimal scenes show he is interested in not only fishing, but computers too. And that confusion is Chuck's biggest problem too, as like Fly, he is underdeveloped in terms of motivation for his actions. He hates Fly's attitude, but why? Fly hates Chuck's stuck-up nature, but why? He's this genetics prodigy, but that accounts for nothing within the actual story. It's just there because they turn into fish later. It robs Chuck of the emotional pull of his performance that he is selling hard. As pacing-wise, his and Fly's actions and change by the end of the movie feel arbitrary. But hands down, Stella is the worst one, and a worthless cute little girl character only developed to incite everything due to no concept of self-preservation and then offer no help other than that. Because the only time she helped was when Sasha helped them break out of their cell and gather ingredients for the potion. Again, Sasha did the helping. Stella did nothing. It's this weak excuse to create a barely meaningful subplot of her connecting and loving her new seahorse and having to let it go before Professor McCrill and Chuck make Sasha into an abomination. Now, there are good points to this movie. The artistic blending of styles is very interesting. And while by today's standards, the CGI clearly does not integrate with the hand-drawn characters, the meshing of the styles creates a beautiful atmosphere. The threat the children are under and the stakes the movie puts forward are legitimately tense, from the ticking clock mechanic of the potion to the damage the children undergo, including Fly getting his leg broken and Joe suffering one of the most chilling and powerful deaths. The movie does not pull an emotional punch. It just needed the build up to it, because without it, the movie, unlike this shark, lacks the bite it needs to really grab hold. In the end, the story is kind of plain and the pacing is meh. Like, I wish we could have had a little bit more backstory with the characters, with the character beats and where said characters go. But at least we get a cool villain death. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get a sequel where Chuck uses his science lab with Professor McCrill to chemically mix another potion, but this time it's blue. It doesn't turn you into a fish, it turns you into an addict. Oh wait, that's been done.
This is not meth.